again, everyone. Today, we're going to be talking about the importance of sleep and rest. Sleep and rest. Is there even a difference? And how do I get the best of both? Now, we know sleep. Sleep is a condition of the mind and body. We go to bed, we fall asleep. It typically occurs every night for several hours. During sleep, the nervous system is relatively inactive. Your eyes are closed, your muscles are relaxed, and your consciousness is partially suspended. Rest is a little bit different. Rest involves your whole being, not just your body, not just the relaxation of muscles. With complete and regular rest, you restore your health, enhance your performance, and achieve an amazing sense of wellness. But why do you need sleep? What is this great importance of sleep? Well, let me tell you why. If you have ever felt foggy after a poor night's sleep, it won't surprise you to know that sleep really impacts your brain function. First of all, a healthy amount of sleep is important for what we call brain plasticity. That's now the brain's capacity to actually adapt to input. In other words, you process information better when you are getting sleep. You can process input. Another very important reason why we should sleep and rest is because during these times we remove brain waste. Did you know that waste sometimes builds up in the brain? If we sleep too little, we will not promote the removal of waste products from the brain cells. And it is something that occurs less efficiently when the brain is awake. But sleep is not only important for how we process input and how we remove waste from the brain, it is also vital to the rest of the body. When we don't get enough sleep, our health risks rise. I'm talking health risk for depression, seizures, high blood pressure, and even migraines worsen. Friends, when you don't rest, your immunity is compromised, increasing the likelihood of illness and infection. Sleep also plays a role in metabolism. Even one night of missed sleep, one night, can create a pre-diabetic state in an otherwise healthy person. There are so many important connections between health and sleep. The first thing that I'm going to do, tip number one, is to get in sync. Getting in sync with your body's natural sleep-wake cycle or its circadian rhythm is one of the most important strategies for sleeping better. If you have a regular sleep-wake schedule, chances are you'll feel much more refreshed and energized than if you sleep the same number of hours at different times. In fact, even if you alter your sleep schedule by an hour or two, once you keep it within the same pattern, you will be resting well. This helps your internal body clock to kind of optimize the quality of your sleep when you're going to bed at the same time and getting up at the same time every day. So choose a bedtime where you normally feel tired, so you're not going to be tossing and turning in bed. Try to go to sleep and get up at the same time every day. This helps your body's internal clock and optimizes the quality of your sleep. So choose a bedtime when you normally feel tired so that you don't toss and turn. If you're getting enough sleep, you should wake naturally without an alarm. If you need an alarm clock, you may need an earlier bedtime. Also, avoid sleeping in, even on the weekends. The more your weekend and your weekday sleep schedules differ, is the worse jet lag like symptoms you'll experience. If you need to make up for a late night, friends, don't sleep later in the morning. Instead, wake up at your regular time and then opt for a daytime nap later in the day instead of sleeping in. This allows you to kind of pay off the sleep debt without disturbing the pattern. In order to get in sync, we're also going to be smart about napping. I mentioned it just 2 seconds ago. While napping is a good way to make up for that lost sleep in the day, if you have trouble falling asleep at night now and staying asleep, then you know you have to be smart about how you nap and limit your naps to 15 to 20 minutes in the early afternoon. We stay in sync with a healthy breakfast. We fight that kind of after dinner drowsiness, and we incorporate a little movement after we have eaten so that we don't go straight to bed. The next tip that we have is to control our exposure to light. Melatonin is a naturally occurring hormone controlled by light exposure that helps to regulate your sleep-wake cycle. Your brain actually produces melatonin when it gets dark, and that's what makes you sleepy. It produces less melatonin when there is light around you. So it therefore means that when it's time for us to go to bed now, we can practice sundowning. We can turn off a few lights at a time inside the house or the apartment or the bedroom. Start to get the place a little darker, because immediately your brain will respond and begin to produce melatonin that will help you to feel sleepy or drowsy. So here's how you can influence your exposure to light. During the day, early morning, expose yourself to bright sunlight that will get the drowsiness out of your system and help you to be more productive in the day. At night, I want you to avoid bright screens at least 1 or 2 hours before your bedtime. The bright blue light from your phone, your tablet, it's more stimulating. It's disruptive to your sleep. It's not relaxing. Now listen, I understand after a long day's work, sometimes we just want to do that absent, mindless sort of scrolling. That can be done, but when it's almost time, 1 or 2 hours before bedtime, we're going to put the phone down and we're going to practice some better sleeping habits. We're going to make sure the room is dark. We're going to use e-readers that don't have a light on the screen. We're going to listen to relaxing music or even an audiobook instead, because sleep and rest is important. The next tip for us to have better sleep and rest, since it's so important, is to exercise during the day. Yes, exercise during the day. People who exercise regularly sleep better at night and feel less sleepy during the day. Regular exercise improves the symptoms of insomnia and sleep apnea and increases the amount of time you spend in the deep restorative stages of sleep. The more vigorously you exercise, the better the sleep benefits. The more vigorously you exercise, the better the sleep benefits. But even light exercise, such as just walking, for 10 minutes a day, will have a significant impact on the quality of your sleep and, most importantly, on your restorative rest. It can take several months of regular activity before you experience the full sleep promoting effects. So please, friends, be patient and focus on building an exercise habit that works for you. We're also going to be smart about what we eat and drink. That's tip number 4. Your daytime eating habits play a role in how well you sleep, especially in the hours before bedtime. So focus on a heart-healthy diet, cut back on sugary foods and refined carbs. Don't eat a lot of sugar and white rice, pasta during the day. This can promote wakefulness and pull you out of those deep stages of restorative sleep. Limit your caffeine and nicotine. Avoid this big meal right before bed. Avoid alcohol before bed. And avoid drinking too many liquids in the evening to prevent frequent trips to the bathroom during the night. For some people, a light snack may work before bed, and for others, eating before bed can lead to indigestion and make sleeping more difficult. So spend some time to get to know yourself a little bit to find out what works for you, and we practice that. Remember, the healthiest you is the happiest you. Tip number 5 for how we get better sleep and rest is wind down and clear your head. If at any point in time you find yourself, finding it difficult to get to sleep regularly, you're waking up in the middle of the night, night after night, you have maybe a little bit of residual stress, worry, or even anger from your day, sometimes that can make it difficult to sleep. But taking steps to manage your overall stress levels and learning how to curb that worry habit can make it easier to unwind at night. You can also try a relaxing bedtime routine or a breathing exercise. So, all right, this is how a deep breathing exercise can help you. Remember, you've set your environment, you turn down the lights, it's getting dark, you've put your phone away 1 or 2 hours before. Now we're going to do some deep breathing to really get ourselves in a state of rest and calm so we will sleep and wake up energized and ready for the day. So let's talk. This is how we do that. With your deep breathing exercise, you breathe from your belly and not just your chest, and you activate a relaxation response by lowering your heart rate, lowering your blood pressure, and eventually lowering your stress hormones. Sorry, reducing that cortisol. I think I should probably cut out this deep breathing part for a separate video so persons can find it easily. But let's go here for now. So I spoke about sundowning a little bit. I spoke about turning the lights off, putting the phone away. All of that is a part of the environment. However, to get a little bit closer to home, let's talk about why that environment matters and how much more you can do to improve your sleep environment. Keep noise down. Keep your room cool. Have ventilation. You sleep better in a cool room than in a very, very hot room. Make sure your bed is comfortable. Nothing really sticking you. We won't have any Princess and the Pea tonight or on any night that we're sleeping. If you often wake up with a sore back or a sore neck, maybe you need a new mattress, maybe a different pillow, maybe something to cushion you differently, maybe your sleep posture, maybe you're sleeping on your stomach when you should be sleeping on your back. And reserve your bed and your bedroom for sleeping, not for bringing work into bed, not for bringing tense conversations into bed, not as a children's playpen, not as a dining room table. Reserve your bed for sleeping and marital activities. Do that. Reserve your bed for that so that your body immediately begins to associate sleep, rest when they see bed. So the same time your eye buck up on the bed, you immediately know that, okay, it's sleep time now, it's rest time now, because you have made that association. So we are controlling our sleep environment. Look, an environment may seem like not a big deal, but it really, really is. You are a part of God's creation, and the same way plants in a greenhouse need very specific controlled measures in order to have them be optimal, it's the same way you need very specific and controlled measures for you to be optimal. What I will help you to do is to identify those things, be aware that you need these things so that you can live your happiest and your healthiest life. So please work on your sleep environment. Our final tip is learn ways to get back to sleep. It's pretty normal to wake up during the middle of the night. You may use the restroom. You may fall out of 1 or 2 stages of sleep and come back to full consciousness, but we have to get back to sleep. So one of the reasons, or one of the ways rather, that we do this is we stay out of our head. No overthinking, no worrying. We begin our breathing exercise and we go right back to sleep. If you're trying to regain sleep, make relaxation your goal, not sleep, because you will automatically sleep when you relax. So if you're having trouble going back to sleep after waking up in the middle of the night, that's fine. Just begin to relax. You can do a quiet, non-stimulating activity. If you've been awake for more than 15 minutes, it's okay to get out of bed, take up a book, not your phone screen. We've spoken about the blue light. Take up a book and begin to read. This is a quiet, non-stimulating activity, and it will put you back to sleep in no time. Keep the lights dim, not too dim that you can't see and damage your eye, just low enough that it's not bright and getting away that melatonin. We want the melatonin to stay so that we can rest. And then postpone worrying and brainstorming if you wake up in the middle of the night. In fact, friends, I think it's fine to keep a little notepad by your bed that if you wake up in the middle of the night and it's the worrying, intrusive thoughts that come and they flood at you, just brain dump. Take up the little notepad and just write it down quick, quick, quick. Get it out of your system. Get it out of your brain. You've released the thought. It won't come back. And it will be easier for you to rest and go to sleep. There are different types of rest, but we won't talk about that in this conversation. There's 7 actually. I'm just going to mention three, so that you know what they are. I think we've covered the other types of rest when we spoke about, the different ways that we need to sleep and be rejuvenated and so forth. So now let's just look at 3 of these types of rest, quick and fast. These 3 that we're focusing on right now in this moment is social rest that you also need. It's the rest that we experience around life-giving people. If you are always giving, it's important that you find a way to be in a space where no one requires anything from you. No one is calling mommy, daddy. No one is bugging you. There's no boss requiring something from you. Your coworkers don't need you. But just around your friends, it's social rest where you can just let down your hair and be yourself. We also need emotional rest. Emotional rest is the kind of rest that we experience when we feel like we can be real and authentic in how we feel. So you need a space where you can express your feelings authentically. So for some persons, this may mean a little bit of isolation, going to the beach, taking a walk, feeling your feelings, or it may mean talking to a friend and just venting, just letting it all out. Emotional rest where you can be vulnerable and honest in how you feel, where you can share your fears and also your joys and your successes without any fear of repercussion. There's no consequence when we're experiencing emotional rest. Talk therapy with a licensed professional is also useful for emotional rest. The 3rd type of rest that I'm gonna mention right now is creative rest. Yeah, creative rest. It's okay to get an adult coloring book. Creative rest is the kind of rest we experience when we allow ourselves to appreciate beauty in any form, whether natural beauty like the mountains and the ocean, or created beauty like art, music, and dance. So just play some music, go down to the gallery. There's a great exhibition in the National Gallery called Pressure. There are continued exhibitions in the National Gallery West. We have wonderful museums, different spaces to see structured beauty. There are wonderful art walks in Kingston in the downtown commercial district and beautiful murals all over the island. And of course, we have a beautiful island being Jamaica that you can explore and just lose yourself in the beauty of it. That is creative rest. When you have creative rest, you can create. You see, when you don't have it, it's very difficult for you to continue to create and produce at a high level. All right. So those are the different types of rest. I want to leave you with a quote for today and a picture of 2 of my favorite people. That's Miss Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce and Mr. Usain Bolt. And the quote is, "I deserve optimal sleep and rest. I will do everything to be the best version of myself." That's the affirmation that I want you to take into the rest of the week. Whatever the demands on your life and your schedule are, don't forget, you deserve optimal sleep and rest. And you must do everything necessary to give that to yourself. When we do, then we will be able to be top performers like our friends on the screen. Thank you so much for joining me for this conversation. I do hope this content is useful and informative for you. Please feel free to tell me in the comments how you will be prioritizing your rest this week. And if something don't make sense and you think that there's no way I can do that, Stas, please also let me know and we'll talk about it. I love you so much for watching. Have a good day.